Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's class. Today we're going to be talking about vital needs. I'm trying the two camera thing again, so let's cross everything we possibly can, make sure that it all works. Not sure if it's going to, but hey, let's give it a shot. So tonight we're going to be talking about vital needs. And what are vital needs? Well, these are the things that your body absolutely requires to survive. If I take it away, you perish, okay? So these are things like oxygen, right? We take it away, you're not gonna last very long. We take away water, not gonna last very long. Take away shelter. If you're out in the elements, you're gonna succumb to the elements. Take away nerve flow, there's certain things that are all required, okay? So that's what we're talking about. And when we talk about this, we want to talk about the fact that these things are regulatory, meaning that the more effort you put towards it, the better you can change the outcome. There's one gentleman that I'm watching, kind of keeping up with, who's out of Grand Rapids. God bless him. He started his journey just about a year or so ago. Now, I apologize, I'm probably getting that time frame wrong. And he was 600 pounds, okay? And he's losing weight, and he just in September, because he's getting kind of feedback, not necessarily all positive feedback, he's getting feedback from other people on the internet that are talking about how, he should be weighing himself more often and things of that nature. And so he decided on September he was going to weigh himself every single day, just to show people that that's not a good idea. And unfortunately, it did everything that I tell all of my patients that are trying to lose weight. It did everything that I tell them to watch out for, is the fact that it started playing with his mind. Because if you weigh yourself every single day, you have no idea the trend that you're doing, because you're going to do this every single day, depending on salt intake, depending on exercise, depending on water retention, depending on, yada, yada, yada. So many different options. So you can't get a very good idea day to day. If you measure yourself week to week, that's the most recent, or not recent, the shortest time between weigh-ins once a week is what I would suggest. I actually suggest every other week to once a month. Now, it depends on if you're on an active journey to try and lose weight or if you're just trending that way. And the reason why I don't recommend less than once a week, meaning, once every 6 months to weigh yourself, is because sometimes you can miss critical weight loss that you're not trying to do. That's indicative of certain disease factors, including cancer, but not limited just to that. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining the weight that you want to maintain or that you should be maintaining. But you also don't want to weigh yourself every single day because it changes so frequently. And you may be down 10 pounds one day, and then the next day you're up 3 pounds from your previous. So you actually gained 13 in his case, because again, he's a lot bigger than a lot of other people, but he's on a great journey. He's lost well over 150 pounds already, or they're close to 150 pounds. God bless him, right? He's doing it the good method way. So you should lose, if you are losing a lot of weight, you should lose between 1 and 2 pounds a week. 1 and 2 pounds a week. That's healthy weight loss. Well, 1 and 2 pounds a week doesn't sound like a lot. 2 pounds a week is over 100 pounds, right? Now, in his case, because he's really actively pushing, he should be between 3 and 4 pounds of weight loss a week, especially considering his size when he started. So 3 to 4 pounds a week means in a year he could potentially lose up to 200 pounds. Faster than that, I would be concerned about the outcomes of his body, right? So why am I talking about this in particular? Well, when we talk about weight loss and we talk about things like that, there's certain aspects that come into it. Diet is a big one. Remember, one of those vital needs. We take away food, are you going to last very long, right? But diet, if I take away diet from you, How long before your body succumbs to lack of nutrition and you die? Well, everybody's going to be a little different, right? But the average is about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe as much as a month. Okay, so that's not a lot of time, but it's significant. Okay, so roughly 2 months to a year, or 2 weeks to a month is still a significant amount of time. If we take away shelter, let's say we take away shelter in June in Michigan. Well, you're going to be probably fine, right? Because you can find shade, which might not be shelter, that gets you out of the element of sun. It's not like you're in the Sahara. And you'll last June, July, August, probably even September, right? So you'll last several months. But then come October and November and December, January, February, those months, you're not going to last very long, maybe a few hours without shelter, right? Because of the temperatures that drop down. So it all determines on what your surroundings are or what you're dealing with. Again, somebody who's heavier, 400, 500, 600 pounds, they have a lot of reserved fat energy that they can last a lot longer with no food, right? Where somebody who might be 3 or 4% body fat, they're not going to last very long with no food, right? Because they don't have a lot going on. It's going to start with fat, and then it's going to move to muscle, and then it's going to move to nerve. And when it starts breaking down your nerve, you're done, okay? So if we want to change something, diet is not necessarily the quickest thing. So you've got to look long-term for diet. We're talking 3 to 6 months to see good, true change with dietary changes. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying expect it to take a while, okay? But it's perfectly fine to do. The other thing that people talk about is exercise. Well, exercise goes to kind of your circulatory system and your respiratory system, right? We build up the respiratory system. We can get more oxygen. We can do more. We build our muscles up. We can utilize more energy. We can build that metabolism. And yes, that's fantastic. And absolutely we want to do that. And if I go to the gym and do one push-up, am I going to be built like The Rock? No, right? If I go to, I go to a pool and do a lap, am I now Michael Phelps? Absolutely not. It takes a long time, right, to build those things up. But with time, intensity, frequency, and duration of doing those things, that sounds familiar. With those characteristics, you can actually achieve a similar status to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or Michael Phelps, right? But it's going to take time, years, to develop those types of things. But it's doable, all right? Are you ever going to beat Michael Phelps' world record? The odds are not there, right? However, you're going to get much better and you're going to do quite well. But it takes time, frequency, intensity, and duration. But again, it's going to take time. In order to see change with exercise, you're talking a couple of months. Now, with food, we're talking 3 to 6 months. Now, the exercise, we're talking 1 to 2 months before you see a change in, maybe your energy levels and things of that nature. But it's quicker, right? Just as if I took away food, you last for up to about a month. I take away oxygen, well, now we're only lasting a few minutes. Take away water. Water's a great thing, right? Many of you that know me know that I have had a lot of rosacea type of issues, eczema type issues with my face, right? Due to a stupid thing that I did when I was younger and damaged my liver, okay? Not going to get into that. However, I'm going to say be very mindful what you put in your body because it can really cause effects later in life. So I have changed what I drink. But I drink primarily water now, okay, compared to drinking soda or pop, as we call it in Michigan, and coffee and tea. I still have a pop now and again. I still have a tea or a coffee now and again, but it's not an everyday type thing. Okay. In fact, if you were to open the refrigerator that's right over there by Miss Crystal, you would find a pop in there. In fact, it's crushed peach. Fantastic if you haven't had it. But I'm not drinking 3, 4, 5 of those a day. I'm drinking 1, maybe 2 a week. And the majority of what I drink is in this cup right here. Look at that. It's even logoed up with my family. So that happens to be water. Okay. Now, we can talk about water a little bit here. Like, what type of water should I drink? Well, I prefer to drink water that it has electrolytes in it. So some electrolytes that cause it to be a little bit more on the pH scale that's a little higher, right? A little basic. I try to do that not because you're going to get a huge amount of benefit. There's a lot of research out there that contradicts, whether you're drinking alkaline water or not, if it's beneficial. It's beneficial if it's alkaline immediately, not if it sits out as alkaline. So bottled alkaline water isn't nearly as beneficial as if you're getting it out of a Kagan water filter, I think. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the name off the top of my head. But these water filters that actually produce it right away, you're going to get a ton of benefit from that compared to something that's been sitting there, right? But I prefer that. Why that over distilled? Well, distilled water has no mineral aspect whatsoever into it, and it actually will leach those minerals out to create something called osmosis, or through osmosis called just getting that wrong. A process of osmosis in your body to create homeostasis. So homeostasis is equality throughout your body. If you take something in that has no minerals, it's going to find minerals to equal that out, right? So think of it like salt, right? If you take too much salt in, you bloat, right? That's because you have to balance that salt out with more water, so that bloats. Next thing you know, you've got a lot of edema, you've got a lot of issues with that. Kind of the same thing. So if you do that with, or in the reverse order, so if you do that with distilled water can actually injure you, because if you're drinking it too much, it's depleting the mineral that you have in your body. So be very careful with the type of water. Tap water, well water, that's fine. I typically filter it just to get the chlorine and other things like that out. Or I buy bottled water like from Culligan, or I prefer, me personally, this is just my preference, I really like Costco's, the large waters that are the alkaline waters. It's 18 liters for $10. So about 50 cents a liter. I go through a gallon of water a day. So you do the math on that. But if I'm cooking at home or something like that, I'm not using those bottles of water. I'm using tap. Okay. I just don't care for chlorinated water, or the taste of some of the chemicals. I'm not sure exactly the names of them. The one starts with a B. Anyways, but if we take water away, right, it's going to be fairly short. We're going to be able to live, but only a few days, right? So we talked about how oxygen's a few minutes, water's a few days, a few weeks for food, a few months for shelter, depending, right? But if we take away nerve flow, instant, right? Something happens to the spinal cord. It is 99% of the time an instantaneous reaction. Rarely, and I actually did watch a documentary on a young lady who was jumping into a foam pit and hyperextended her neck, and that happened to cause an injury, a spinal injury, that took several days before she was paralyzed from the chest down. That's rare. Usually those spinal injuries, it's almost instantaneous. So where I'm going with this is, if you are wanting to go ahead and correct a problem and see quicker results, one of the best ways to do that is through spinal adjustments, because we are affecting the nervous system, and you will see quicker results through that. Now, you should also change your diet. You should also change your water intake. You should also change your exercise routine, all to benefit those things. But the fastest results is going to be through making sure your neurological tone is correct, so through adjustments. The second would be through oxygenation, and the third through water, and the fourth through your diet. And diet, you're going to see that change in 3 to 6 months. So you're still going to see a change, right? And remember, if you're trying to lose weight, without surgical intervention and whatnot, 1 to 2 pounds, maybe as much as 3 to 4 pounds a week. So that 1 to 5 pounds a week is really where you want to be, in that sweet spot where you're not losing too much and you're not losing too little, okay? So if you want to get more information on things like this, give me a call. I'm here to help. We are definitely here to encourage and uplift you and help you to restore yourself to what your body absolutely needs and requires. And that's what your vital needs are all about. I'm here to uplift you, to help you with those. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Give us a call at the office. Get a hold of us through DMs, whether it be on here on Facebook, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. We're on pretty much all the socials. And just let me know what's going on. Okay, we're happy to help. We're here to help. And as always, I look forward to seeing you for your adjustments in the next few days. Keep in mind, this Thursday we are closed, as I am heading to New Jersey for continuing education. So I will be here in the office all day today, for the rest of the day today until 6:30, and then 8 in the morning until 6:30 at night tomorrow, Wednesday, September 10. But September 11, 12, 13, and 14, I'm out of the office. We'll be returning regular hours Monday, September 15th. So until then, I wish you all a wonderful night and great spinal health. Bye-bye.